Good morning. It's Ian, Keith, Dad, Grandad, you know the routine. Day after first cycle chemo. A day that I couldn't do without, but also a day that I had experiences that I wouldn't want to revisit or reoccur. I'll explain that in a minute. Those comments. I'm sat here in my conservatory. It's rain due, so you might get it in a bit, the radar shows. But a couple of things, after I've done the previous videos, I've thought I need to just go over that. Which some of it leads up to what I'm going to talk about yesterday. The first generation hormone treatment, one of the things that it does is that the way that they control it, it's a part of your brain that produces the signals to your body to produce the testosterone. So the intention of that treatment is to signal to that and control that operation. But what it does, this part of your brain, is it sees that there's a threat and goes into panic mode, for want of a better description. And what happens is that your body creates a massive surge in testosterone because of it. So prior to you having the hormone therapy, they give you with me it's bacalutamide. You have that for 7 days before and 21 days after. And it's called a tumour flare, because the excess testosterone causes all the tumours to go crazy, thinking, whee, it's dinner time, running around and grow rapidly for that month or whatever. So they obviously want to avoid that, so they give you bacalutamide, in my case. And when you start reading all these sheets, as I tend to, don't do me, sometimes I wish I was ignorant. When you get right to the end, and you're getting down all the list of side effects, you see the comment, and I think it was 1 in 100. It was it might have been 1 in 10. It said morbidity due to cardiovascular failure. That was it. In other words, heart attack, stroke. I'm already got some risk with that with my heart. So anyway, so of course you think, oh, sugar. So, and then it says not all people have these side effects, but you know that anyway. So that was the first thing. And then you get this for the chemo, and you start, they give you like a 4 or 5 page document to read over what to do, all the side effects, and from the chemo. And again, they're very well trained very well experienced, I should say, at doing these things. But again, you've got, it's nasty stuff. And you literally, you have to use your own toilet and keep everybody away from it, and wash your hands and wash the end of your urethra thoroughly every time you urinate. You do that for 2 or 3 days while it's all been coming out of you afterwards. But you read this sheet, and basically it's talking about, again, high risk of heart attacks, and all the rest. Now, one of the things I need to do is describe, and this takes time, is the way that chemo works. Now, all the hormone therapies that I'm on, the first and second generation, are targeted to prostate cancer, and they only attack prostate cancer cells. But chemotherapy is a systemic, what we call systemic. It does everything, all over your body, everywhere, all over your system. systemic. And there's two different types, I believe, from what I've read, of chemotherapy. And if you remember your biology lesson at school, any cell, any living cell, be it cancerous or normal, has to divide and grow. Some cells might die off or get killed if you hit yourself with a hammer or something like that, or cut yourself. So, and what happens is these cells divide, and the way that they do it is that the DNA ladder, the twisted ladder that you've all seen with the rungs, one of the types actually attaches a little bridge between two of the rungs. And another type affects the enzymes within the cell that the cell needs for that DNA to divide into two identical separate units. So what happens with these cells is that when they divide, they reach this link between the rungs or the lack of enzyme at a certain point of the DNA string, and it can't go no further. So it stops dividing. It can't part. So it can't produce two more cells from the one. And when it does that, it says, oh yeah. And it kills itself. It dissolves away and gone. So in a cancer cell, brilliant. In all of the normal cells in your body, not so brilliant. Right, so this is where you get a lot of your side effects from. Because we all know that cancer cells grow rapidly, divide rapidly. So they divide far more rapidly than normal cells in your body. So the scientist who develops these chemotherapies basically sees that it's better to kill more more cancer cells than worry about the few normal cells that you might destroy in the process, because it's better to lose the cancer than to die. So what happens is that there are other cells within your body that divide more rapidly than normal. Sorry, not than normal. They are designed to divide more rapidly because of what they do. And these are hair cells, fingernail cells, I believe, is another one. Then there's cells within your stomach lining, I think, because of the acids, keeps destroying the cells around, so it replicates and the cells grow far more rapidly there to keep the stomach operational. And also skin, your surface of your skin cells. So you might, with chemotherapy, get skin rashes. We all know you lose your hair, and that's because it's killing the cells off. And when you've had chemo, you want to vomit. And the reason is that, or you become nauseous, I should say. And the reason for that is that because it's not allowing the stomach cells to grow. So they give you all these steroids and whatever to try and combat that. I'll just have a quick slurp and dry out. World's greatest grandad. Eat by gum. So that's what it does and how it does it. So that's why you have what you have in terms of treatment. So going back to my experiences yesterday. Some of you will know because I sent a quick message around some of friends and family as it started to go tits up. So they met a lovely nurse. Well, everybody there's, at the Headlands unit at Truro, brilliant people, They need big applause, a massive pat on the back, big hugs, because they do a hard job, but a wonderful job really, and a lot of training. I'm sure they don't get paid what they're worth. Anyway, that's that's my general view, but I'm not going to go into all that politics. So you get called in, and this nurse introduced herself, and she says she didn't wish to have a name broadcast, which is fair enough, so I'll just call her Kay. letter K. And she'll know what I mean. So she introduced herself, gives a little intro, you know, there are the toilets, blah, blah, blah. Went into the chemo rooms, and it's like one big ward, but there was 3 separate sections. And obviously they've got their own nurses for that day appointed to those areas. And I'm first one in the morning, 20 to 9. So I get the pick, so I get the window seat. And yeah, so I'll not go into all the rest of the detail, the usual checks, you know, date of birth, name, so on and so forth. Yeah, sits me down, puts the cannula in, and I've said before, they go into your arm here, rather than your wrist, rather than the back of your wrist, or sorry, rather than the back of your hand or your elbow, because they don't want it to move about, because of the dangers in doing that. Leakage, don't want any leakage. So she puts me on, and the first of all, flush it through with saline, and just make sure it's all operational and running good, which it was, and they pump it in rather than drain. And then she puts the chemo drugs on. Docetaxel, which is the most modern, best. In America they call it Taxotere, I believe. For American friends who are watching this. Yeah, so they put that in, she starts to drip, pump starts going click, click, you know, as they do, just pumping it through gradually. So I'm just laid there, and the nurses are all around, so, because I'm laid back slightly. Oh no, I think I was sat at that time. And they're all sort of, she's hovering around my feet on a computer, putting in the various information they needed. And I've got this little irritable, like a chest cough. So occasionally I'll go, because just it feels a bit loose, you know. Nothing major. Anyway, I'm sort of sat there and you feel a little bit sort of like you've had a sip of whiskey or something, you know, you're a little bit in your head, because there's obviously these drugs going around. And then I went, and I thought, oh, I feel a bit, oh, a cough, you know. And I felt this sort of tightness coming on my chest, at the bottom of my chest, and I thought, this isn't normal. And then it came up, it started getting more intense. So I says to Kay, I says, I don't feel right. So immediately she just dives and stops the pump. And by this time, my head's going, and I said, I feel like I'm going to faint, because all my vision's going blurred, and it's like getting not a veil, because it's not black, but like I'm getting like a whiteness, like I'm looking through polythene starting to come on. And then I get all these sparkles, you know, all the stars. And my head's going, I said, I'm going to faint here. And at the same time, I can't breathe. And you know, and my chest is getting right tight. And so Kay says, breathe, just breathe, relax, you know. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. And all good stuff, you know, because I started doing what she was telling me. And while I'm doing this, she then shouts out, crash team, and I'm thinking, oh, bugger. Because by this time my heart is really sort of starting to real grit, and like the old people always say, it's like a hand gripping your heart and squeezing it. But it wasn't painful as such. It was like the same pressure that was holding me, like it was just an overall, it wasn't, not hurting is the wrong word, but my heart felt as though it couldn't work because it was being squeezed, squashed, you know what I mean? So she says, just keep breathing, it will fade, you know. So they've obviously experienced this before, but to me, dear God. And my eyes, and I said, I've got these things, and it's like That's the best way I can describe it. It's like fireflies and the zuzzing around. You know, it's when you see stars, but my stars were flying. so she says, I'm going to inject you with a antihistamine. Is that okay? I said, yeah, crack on, yeah. And very good, you know, they have to get permission. And he says, I can't, I think, she says, so I'm going to inject you with some more steroids. So she did that. I said, yeah, crack on, you know. And all of this is starting to ease it off a bit. And as it starts to, my chest starts to feel, I'm starting to breathe a little bit, but it's still, you know, the pressure's there. It then moves down, and I'm my stomach here at front beginning to ache. Not that's wrong, just ache, you know, it's pain. I'm beginning to ache down here. Okay. She says, yeah, that's normal. And then about a couple of minutes later, I said, it's gone around to my pelvis, top of my pelvis at my back. I said, it's stopped here, no pain here now. I said, it's all out back. She says, yeah, normal. So I says, I felt like I was having a bloody heart attack there. You know, because by this time, I said, and my blurriness has started to come back. I'm seeing all right, still a little bit sort of, and I'm getting these fireflies. You know, won't make any noise. That's just me, you know, flies. so anyway, I said, you know, what was it? What was happening? What happened there? You know, she says, it's because of the chemicals going around your body, and it's me saying this, not her. I class it as like a chemical shock, or not a septic shock, but there's a term for it. Anyway, the way she explained it anyway is probably better. She said because of the chemicals hitting your body so quick and hard, she says all your antibodies go crazy because they see it as enemy. She says so they attack it like mad. And she says it's that reaction in your body, all your antibodies going wild, trying to do the job that creates this shock within your system. And she says it's like an allergic reaction. She says that's why I give you antihistamines. She says you've had like an allergic reaction to the chemo. So I said, is that normal? She said, oh, we do get it quite regular. So they're experienced, aren't they? You know. Brilliant. Brilliant people. Thanks, Kay. So I said, well, look, you know, I want this bloody drug, this, you know, Taxotere, because it's the treatment for this, what I've got. It gives me the best outcome possible. I said, so I'd sooner have it than not, even though I've gone through that. So I said, what we'll do, we'll leave you half an hour, flush you through with saline again, keep it going, you know. She says, and we'll get you checked over. So they start doing stats. She calls the doctor, tries to get on my consultant, gets the doctor down. They put an ECG on me because of my history. Do all the thorough checks, and they do numerous stat checks, you know, blood pressure, heart rates, all this sort of thing. Everything's going back to normal. So we're discussing it. I mean, obviously you're involved in what's happening to you. So I said, look, you know, and I said to the doctor, I says, I would much sooner have it than not. I said, so, you know, I'd like you to keep trying. So he went away. He said, I'm going to get hold of your consultant, which I mentioned before, Dr. McGrain, the Einstein Irish consultant. Nice guy. Anyway, so he got hold of him and basically came back and said, yeah, he's happy that we continue to have another go. But if this one reacts, then we shouldn't repeat it. We have to rethink. Oh, sugar now. So, I mean, I'm dreading not being able to have it. And I'm sure you understand this watching, Kay, because I gave him my details. my life with my prostate, you know. So hopefully she's watching this. And I told her I would do a bit on it. Yeah, so they agreed to, what she says is rather than put it in over an hour, they'll slow it down and put it in over 2 hours. So I said, well, make it bloody 3. But of course they ain't got time. They've got other people coming in. And it did fill up eventually while I was getting ready to come out. So they were ready for my bed. You know, you've only got so much time slot. So anyway, they set it away, half the speed, a 2 hour infusion rather than 1 hour. And it worked. All went in. While I was still having it, you still feel a little bit sort of like you've had a whiskey. And there's a Yorkshire volunteer comes around serving tea, coffee sandwiches. What else? They load you up with all these tablets. They gave me the 2nd generation tablets to start. And you read them, what does it say? Risk of heart failure. And same with bloody chemo drugs, you know. And of course I've already got a 20% risk of cardiovascular with me AF. Excuse me. So we've gone 21 minutes now. Yeah, so I said to her, so I've still got this lightheadedness. She says, oh yeah, that's normal. Now what chemo does is that they give it me the cycle every 3 weeks. But 3 weeks, the first 2 days, she explains, you get rid of most of it through urine. But of course it stays in your body. What they do then is over the 6 cycles, over the next 18 weeks, after every cycle, that residual chemical builds up in your body very gradually. So every 3 weeks, you get a new blast, and then it sort of settles down. But when it gets to the 3rd infusion, there's more in it at the beginning, before the 3rd, than there was before the beginning of the 2nd, and so on. So over the 6 infusions, it gets to its highest at the end, and hopefully killing off the most. Now, according to what I've watched and learned, is that normally 4 is sufficient to do its job. So they normally get the extra 5th and 6th one in just as a make sure mop up, you know, clear up. Yeah, so last night I had my first. Now in England we call them hot flush. In America they call them hot flash. I don't know which is best. Potato, you know. But yeah, it wasn't a bad one. But it's a sign that, you know, my testosterone levels are now coming down, dying. Not dying is the wrong word, but being controlled. But here's the thing. So, of course, you start to get all these lack of testosterone side effects, which you become more emotional. You become more feminine in your approach. You lose a lot of your sort of body hair, which chemo will do anyway. But you will naturally lose your hairy chest and things like that, because all that's testosterone driven. So, Bank Holiday Monday just gone by, Maybank, and I was watching Nanny McPhee, The Big Bang, I think it was, where the bomb lands in the field at the end. And believe it or not, I burst into bloody tears when they defuse the bomb and they're all looking. I'm got tears rolling down. So, oh dear, funny. But I mean, I was talking it through with Kay, not the name Kay, the letter K. You know, because I've said to it, you know, it's a tapestry life, and as much as it might be, you know, not a nice thought, you've got to go with it and enjoy it as best you can. And you know, my sort of thing in life is try and get this message out to people. You know, try and get them thinking the same way. Be positive, because it'll see you. It'll do you good in the end. And it'll do good for everybody around you, you know, the nurses, because it's like I said to her, I says, you know, I want you to cheer you up because, you know, I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be negative. You know, and what you're doing is a brilliant job and you should be happy in it. You know, and I want to sort of have a laugh and a joke and a bit of a crack, you know. Oh, and hopefully I get that across. Well, while I was there, I was sat in because they don't open the doors while 8:30. I got there 10 minutes early. So I'm sat in the waiting area in the corridor. And Tammy walks by. You remember? When I first went, I told you about Tammy. And I remember back Winnet. She walked by. And I said, well, hello, Tammy. And, you know, the one I had a bit of a joke with. And I said, it's Tammy Winnet. And she looked, oh, yeah, you know. And then she made her day, made her feel a bit happy, you know. Cheered me up, you know, somebody else I knew. And I'm purposely, you know, I'm trying to remember these people's names. Because it's only, you know, decent that they're doing the best for you. You've got to do the best for them. And help them as much as you can. Yeah, so, it's now the morning after. I immediately got home last night. After got back, so mid-afternoon or early afternoon, went to bed, got an hour's kip. It's the first kip I'd had. I had no sleep last night, or the night before, I mean. Last night I managed, although it's about 6 o'clock now. I'm going to go and see my GP this morning, see if I can get some mild sleeping tablets to try and help me get a better sleep, because, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm 2:30 and I'm waking up, my brain starts, you know. And it's just me thinking things through that I've got to do for the day and, you know, what I need to organise, tablets, making sure I'm taking all my tablets. And it's all these things just niggling away at me. So I've got to get coping strategies put in place better, I think, and, you know, which I'm doing. I've got everything on my camera, on my phone. And I've changed the colours. I've put colour coding now, so I know which ones are the priority ones on my phone. Easier to see coming up. Yeah, so this morning, I'm due to start my anti-sickness tablets for the next one lot for 2 days, another lot for 7 days. See, I remember, Kay. And then in a fortnight's time or thereabouts, I'm due to see the Dr. McGrain, and which I've got various questions to raise with him about the future, where we're heading. But the other thing I'm doing is, you know, I'm probably got another 5, maybe hopefully 8 years left. And my old car, which is not old, it's only 8-year-old, I've had it more or less from new. So I thought, right, well, you know, time I got myself another car. I love the car I've got, but I'm going to get a real whiz-bang new one. Smaller, a bit lighter, a bit more efficient, less expensive. And so next week I think it is, I've got the salesman coming for a test drive of a test driver model, and I'll do that for an hour or so, and then see what I think, and maybe go for a deal. So I'll be driving around in a brand new whiz bang, full luxury, you know, all on, and it'll probably be my last one. Sad, last one I buy. And my boy will have it afterwards, I've no doubt, as part of his inheritance. And then be tied to driving his mother around all the time because I'm not here. You didn't think about that, Darren, did you? Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, she's not that well, so she's going to take a lot of work and effort, and you'll have to step in, I'm afraid. And the other son who's a bit further away, but I mean, he's a good lad. You are a good lad, Dan. I mean, he took me to hospital yesterday and waited, and he'll be taking me for next chemo as well. Yeah, so I'm feeling top of world, but I'm sure as the steroids wear off, that will decay. And then it's just a question of keeping myself out of illness, away from... Oh, yeah, because the thing you got to realise is if you get like a cut, what happens? The cells have to divide and heal and grow. Well, chemo stops that. So, obviously, when, you know, and I've got this stomach because of the chemo, it's destroying the lining or whatever that causes the nausea. So I've got to be vigilant, keep watching me symptoms, you know, and slightest hiccup, you have to phone helpline. They've got somebody on it 24/7. Anyway, there we are. Look, it's 29:59. Just come up 30 seconds, or 30 minutes. That's it, folk. I haven't said this for a while, but please keep, do subscribe. I'm getting a few that keep coming in, occasional ones. And, hit the bell to be notified. And make some comments, I'm here to help you. I'm obviously going through it. You'll probably get another one in a week's time. Might be my new car. Ooh, yeah. Something to please me up. Keep me happy. I've got the sea fog, so there's not much I can show you this morning. I'd give you a quick 160, 360. Well, I'll do that anyway. It's a lovely conservatory. We built it a few years ago, and it goes down to the floor, and there's some clothes hanging up to dry, and you'll see the dog flat below I think that's where the dog helps himself to get in and out. That's coming round to the kitchen wall. Oh, that's the doors out. Yeah, that's through into the kitchen. All my tiling work, all my own work. That looks out onto the roof of the house, of course. I'll spin around a bit. One of the chairs, and it's looking out. That's the view out, and you can see the sunsets out over there, and the sea, which you can't see because of the fog. That's where I've just been sat there. And then that's looking out again over towards Land's End and the fields, and you see the sea. Anyway, and it's that style of roof, which is all very pretty, all very expensive. I built it. Anyway, that's it, folk. Sign off for now. Quite happy over the trauma. As I said, don't wish to re-experience that event, and I shouldn't do now. Should be all right. And just hope I get through to the end of this year without any cardiac issues. Right, love you all, and big hugs all around, and you know who you are. Big kisses. Bye now.